From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. There's soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be millionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training Podcast. I'm going to be your host for this episode. My name, Bill. Usual. Who else is hosting?
I'm Vicky.
I'm Jennifer.
And we are. So, we're back again. 2 weeks in a row, we went to an HPD. This time, we went to Mid-Ohio with NASA Great Lakes. Ladies, what do you think? How was the weather? How was the track? Talk to me.
Oh, we went with Jennifer this time.
That's right. Jennifer and Vicky and me.
Awesome track. Very awesome track.
You weren't saying that Saturday morning.
A dry track. It's a very awesome dry track. Saturday was a bit wet and a bit cold, but Sunday was beautiful. Not all day Saturday because it dried up Saturday afternoon.
It was still cold though.
Saturday was still cold.
Miss Vicky?
Yes. It was cold and wet. And I really wish we had that space heater. But the weather, the weather changed abruptly in our transition to getting there. It transitioned on our way to getting there. So we did not pack everything that we needed. So we did have to go out.
A little bit of rain gear, winter wear.
We had to go out and get rain gear, sweatshirts, gloves. Yeah, we actually bought gloves. We thought about buying a space heater, and we would have if they had the little mini propane tanks for them, but they didn't have those, so we opted not to. So
we got the little heat things for your gloves.
Got the heat things for your gloves. That, you know what? It surprised us. It really did, because we were checking, and it was supposed to be nice going in. And I was like, "Oh, what a great weekend for Jennifer." Nope.
Changed in mid-trip.
Yes, mid-trip. So Jennifer got to experience Ohio wet, which,
Mid-Ohio,
yeah. Jennifer experienced it. It wasn't optimum, but she really had to.
Okay. Car prep. Vicky. Jennifer took care of her stuff. What about you?
Yeah, I know. Car prep. I had my car running. I did.
You sure?
I think I did. Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah. So yeah. My car, 1999. So things are starting to go on a little bit.
1999 Miata.
Yes, exactly. 1999 Miata. So things are starting to go. And this particular time, my car was ready. It was. I was excited.
I was there. I saw it. I can confirm it was ready.
It was ready all day Saturday.
Until it was not. And then, so I had to park it on Sunday. It ended up being,
it died at our dinner.
It died at dinner. It did. And we can go into that later.
It did have a few good laps, Vic.
Really did.
I saw it.
It did. It did. It was fun riding it again.
Yep.
So.
Was your car ready early like it's supposed to be?
Yes, it was. It really was. It was ready.
Okay. Miss Jen, you got new tires.
I did.
That's right.
We changed the tires out between the two HPDEs. So last Wednesday before we went, I put on some new tires there and it was ready to go.
And the bulletproof BMW E46 M3, no problems. We decided to leave early because Jen has a little bit of a haul from Delaware. I think it's like 7 or 8 hours. So we decided to leave on Thursday after school got out, and we met somewhere along the way on
Harrisburg.
Yeah,
near South Harrisburg.
A little bit west of Harrisburg, I think, just so the morning was easy. Ended up having dinner. Took the enclosed trailer with Vicky's car in it because it's a little rough.
It's uncomfortable for long trips.
Yeah, it's got race seats, race belts, race suspension, and Pennsylvania roads. Not so much.
No,
not so
good.
much. Not so
not
much.
Good.
So we met Jen. We had dinner, and then we continued our little caravan. And it seemed like every hour we drove, the temperature kept getting colder, and the water kept coming in more.
Yep. We had to stop. We had to stop because Jennifer had lost visibility. Yes. So we had to pull off and get some Rain-X because Jennifer's car was just this right height on not asphalt roads, but concrete roads. And
all the water was kicking up on that little.
Yes. So I was calling her saying her windshield wipers look exhausted. She still couldn't see.
She's going a mile a minute.
It was funny.
This is what happens when you travel the U.S. with the Wilson system.
Thing.
Yeah, I told her. She goes, well, you can go around me. I was like, I need a point by. So she actually stuck her hand out in the wet. It did a point by for me. It was a fun trip. It really was. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay. All right. It's going to be one of those podcasts, people.
I love hanging out with my sister. I do. I love hanging out with my sister.
Strap in. Wilson sisters have natural digression. Anyway, so Saturday, we got there Friday night. We went shopping for warm clothes, had dinner. Everything went well. The weather kept getting worse, and it did. We did find out that one of our friends, Bill Griffin, had a problem on the straightaway. He decided to, I don't know why, he's in a race car. He decided to actually press on the gas pedal ever so slightly. And all of a sudden his car just decided, well, I feel like going round and round in circles. And he messed up the front pretty bad. So that didn't make Jennifer feel any better whatsoever going into this. I think we have sufficiently prepared Jennifer to be scared of this track in wet.
I was terrified.
That's right. Our job well done.
Talking.
So Jennifer and Vicky, HPDE 2 Saturday with NASA Great Lakes. What do you think?
The classroom, awesome as always with Great Lakes. The track Saturday morning was a bit rough. It was wet. It was slippery. Everybody was really going slow, which was good. I'm not complaining. But yeah, it was driving offline, which was awkward for me because I went onto the track and the first two sessions I had were completely offline because it was wet. So I was driving the rain line. So when it dried out and I was able to get on the dry track, it really threw me off because I was so used to driving the wet line. So that's just comes with being on a brand new track. But yeah.
I think you had some trouble prepping. You're not a great track prepper.
Yes, I realized, I learned something new about myself all the time. So yeah, I was really trying to look at the videos before going out, and I was trying to look at the track, pictures of the track and the line, and it just is really hard for me to visualize it. I'm just one of those people, I have to drive it and I have to see it and be on it and experience it. So it's a big track. It's a very big track. So it took a while for me to learn the track. And even in between the sessions, I was, I had a YouTube video there, and I was going back and forth to the video playing and the track map, and trying to after being out there, trying to visualize. It was just so hard for me to do that. I mean, by the end of Sunday, I was great. I had every corner. It was, the Apex Pro can attest to that. But the Saturday was rough learning that track. It was tough.
I mean, one of the things that Lemons teaches you is, it gives you lots of seat time and gives you lots of practice and everything. But one of the things that it doesn't teach you is how to learn a track quickly, because you go out there and you're, if it's your first ever stint, we recommend, 30, 45 minutes, but that's still 30 to 45 minutes. And if you're better at racing and more in comfort with the endurance racing. You can be out there for 2 or 3 hours and you get, literally 100 laps. So you can learn a track after 100 laps. If you can't learn a track,
right. And here the sessions were, the track was so big, the sessions were 20 minutes and 15 minutes or whatever, and you got to go around 4 times. Do you know what I mean? So it was,
well, in the rain, maybe.
So I mean, that doesn't give you a lot of time to like memorize track. Like a smaller track, you would get more laps in the time that you're out there. So it's just, there were just less laps in the sessions because of the track size, and it took me a while to learn it. So
yeah, something to work on, something we learned.
I don't know what to actually do about that, but it was just something I recognized was really hard for me. And most of the tracks that we've been to, we either had, they were smaller tracks, we've had more time on it in the sessions, or it was the Lemons Racing or local tracks that we've been to several times that just were familiar to me. But it was interesting.
It's always a little nerve-wracking learning a new track anyway.
It is.
Just in general, because, you can go ahead and you can look at the video, at least for me, you can go ahead and look at the video. You can look at, track maps and stuff like that. But, until you actually are on it,
right,
to get the feeling of it, it's a little different.
And what you're visualizing, you know what I mean? Not what somebody else is visualizing when you're watching a video. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are you seeing when you're out there? So, yeah, I mean, it's, yeah. But like I said, by the end of Sunday, I had it. But, yeah. I mean,
and you ended up on a dry day, so that was good.
And it ended up on a dry day. It was good. And the worst corner ended up being my favorite corner. And
well, we'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So Miss Vicky, this is round 2 for you at Mid Ohio in HPD 2.
Yep.
Better?
Oh, much better. Because I already knew how to drive the wet line now. And granted, I wasn't as fast as I should be, but I knew it on that particular track. And it's a special wet line on that track, not just a wet line. It's a special wet line. It is a Mid-Ohio line in the wet.
Just for the people playing the Garage Heroes and training home game, on the straightaway, you may be doing upwards of 30 miles an hour in the rain at Mid-Ohio and be absolutely at the limit.
Yeah.
And we're not talking slicks, we're talking street tires.
Right.
So it's incredibly
it's treacherous.
slippery.
Well, the thing was too, I think for Jennifer, I'm going to bring that back a little bit, is that we've been talking about it so much, and we set her up with proper instruction early, unlike what happened with me. We got her assistance right away, which I think kind of helped her progress a little faster.
Instructors in her car.
Her car, a trail behind, and of course, it was a wet day, and they fully prepared us for what to expect on a rainy day. And I asked Jennifer how it was. I was chuckling the entire time because she looked terrified. She said she was terrified. Yep. So it's quite intimidating when they explain it out in the wet of what to expect. But
yeah. So one of the big differences between NASA Great Lakes and some of the other places is we have drills. How did the drills go for you guys?
Very well.
The drills were good. I think the drills serve a very good purpose. And
it was your first time with these drills, Jen?
Yeah. Well, we had, in HPD 1, they did some.
Yeah, these are just different drills.
They're just different drills, but yeah, they really do have a purpose, and I think like the passing, it really gets you used to passing other cars, and in a way that you can trust the people that you're with because you're put in small groups, and it's something that like at Northeast, they don't do that, but it kind of prepares you later on for like 3 or 4 or whatever,
right.
When you advance a little bit more into 2 or whatever, that to get comfortable with passing. because, you have to be able to trust the people you're on track with. Do you know what I mean? You have to be able to have a level of trust with the people that you're driving, are passing or letting pass you. There has to be that trust. So, doing these passing drills just kind of prepares you a little bit for that.
Right. So when Jennifer goes, they broke us up into groups. Usually let's say there's 20 people in the group. Okay. They'll break you up into two groups. One will be called Lightning, one will be called Thunder. Usually the Thunder are the high horsepower, heavier cars, and the Lightnings are the lower horsepower, smaller cars. So you'd have like the big, powerful Mustangs and Camaros and McLarens in the top group, the Thunder group. And then in the lighter group, you're going to typically have us, the Miatas, the Toyota 86, the BRZs, all those cars. And they kind of split it up. And then those groups are further subdivided into, you'll have a partner and then you'll have a group. Like the partner will be one car that you're paired up with for the entire weekend, that you guys do the drills together when they're 2-person drills. And then you'll have another group that's like a 4-person, maybe 5-person cars that are all the same. So you have like basically the same cars, and then they'll have the high horsepower cars go out the grid first, and then the lower horsepower cars come out second. So you don't have the structure, which makes it that you got a lot of cars trying to go different speeds during the drills. They're kind of separated into two groups. Right. So that works well for the groups.
And I also going back to the trusting the other drivers. If Vicki, I don't know if you remember, we were in the previous weekend in New Jersey. There was a driver that he was sitting behind us, and he brought up or made a comment, about passing. And he said to the instructor, he goes, because I don't trust the other drivers. And the instructor was like, you have to trust them. Like, they're the people you're on the track with. And he's like, but I don't. So and how do you gain that trust? Do you know what I mean? Like, I felt bad for him because he just has to get it naturally. Whereas, here it was kind of nice to have the drills.
Yeah. I think in that particular one too, from our previous track event in another region, that he witnessed some stuff that made him feel that way.
Right.
So, and I think in that instance that the person had come off track and immediately came back on track, but the way he came on track was not in a safe way. Mm-hmm. So, but I kind of get that. This is one of the reasons why we drive so far.
Yes.
But right. I definitely would say that in this particular one, what I could say was a big difference was nobody talked about point buys. Not one conversation about a point buy. Never. Did you notice that? Never came up.
Nobody said anything.
It never came up, and everybody was doing what they were supposed to do. Right. That was a huge thing. Those point buys need to be covered. Absolutely, 100%. It should be your solid point of knowledge coming out of one.
But not only that, I also felt like everybody was still challenged. Yes. and it wasn't like you were out there racing each other. You were out there improving your driving. Do you know what I mean? And everybody had the same goal, and it wasn't to better anybody else. It was
you weren't racing that
right.
You weren't racing that person in front of you. You were racing the track.
Right. So the point buys were a non-issue because, you were challenged with your own thing and you were doing your own thing kind of. So it was.
Yeah.
Well, the breaking up into two groups minimizes the number of point buys you even have to do. Because you've got the group of the faster cars, higher horsepower cars in the front. So they have to, in the time of one stint, they have to be able to go lap the entire field to the slower cars in the back. You're going to have less point buys.
Yeah. Well, not only that, and that's definitely in 3 for you. But in 2, because Jennifer and I discussed, somebody had brought it up when we were there about the challenges that Jennifer was facing first time on track and with rain, is that we started setting up at the end of the line. So those people would have to, like Bill said, they would have to take longer for her to come around so she can actually practice on track more so before she has to worry about a point by.
Right.
But again, the point by situation never came up. It
Right.
just
as an issue.
it was never an issue. Never. It was always a non-issue. I don't think that honestly, if people got stuck behind and in a train, which I never really saw trains anyway.
They point by.
But like Jennifer said,
did it.
They just automatically did it. Or it wasn't a sticking point. Like if you had to go half a track, it still wasn't a sticking point. It wasn't how fast that point by came out, which I believe is something that's that the other, I think we were in the Northeast, they had pointed out when it came to the point by is that what is an acceptable time frame for you to give that point by. But also in ours, I don't think it was a really big deal because we were passing everywhere except in the brake zone.
Numbered braking zones.
Yes, in the numbered braking zones.
And also to be fair, it was a bigger track. You know what I mean? So more cars can be out there.
Yes.
And have a little bit more room too. So.
Okay, so far be it from me.
How about you?
Not to go to no issues. No issues. Point pass. It's whatever. You do what you're supposed to do on track. It's fine. Far be it from me to go to a track, an event, or even a single stint and not have goals.
So Bill has very exciting news.
Not yet. Not
yet. Come on.
So, what were your goals, ladies? Jennifer.
My goal really for the whole weekend was to learn the track. And once I got to that point, I could move on to something else. So,
you did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but initially for most of the weekend, it was really just learning the track. And after that, like I could just, work on speed. I could work on, turns and yeah.
Okay. Miss Vicky, what about you?
My goal is the bane of my existence.
Right here.
Right now.
I'm right here.
No. Not you. Not you. No, the goal that I have is an extremely bad habit that I've been trying to break, and that is coming down the straightaway is lifting before I apply the brake.
Would you care to discuss why you do that?
I don't know why I do it, but
I think you do.
Part of it is that those numbers at the end of a straightaway going 120 miles an hour come really, really fast, and they're very distorted in their distances coming down. And
perception of distance. Yeah.
Exactly, the perception of my distance. And even though they look very close together, they're really not. But it's a courage thing for me, and thinking I'm not, because as soon as I hit the 5 marker and I try not to lift, I start braking at the 5. You are correct. That I do have plenty of distance. It just doesn't feel that way coming down.
Do you not have confidence in the car?
Not on a wet track.
Okay. Do you not have confidence in your?
It's courage. It's having confidence in the brakes and have confidence in the tires.
What about you?
It's just courage at that point. Like I know I could do it. It's just courage. It's just having to get through that wall that I have set up on that.
I mean, there's part of racing that does require courage. I mean, nobody ever says anything about it, but there is, especially if you get into a bigger, more powerful car.
Mm-hmm. So that was my main goal. Was all weekend was trying to work on my threshold braking and not lift before I do that.
Awesome.
How about you?
I wanted to break a certain time on the club course, and I wanted to get into HPD4. So we'll talk about that later. So you guys have, I think you have like 6 different drills. You had the red flag drill, right?
Yep.
Would you care to describe that?
They throw the red flag and they want to see what you're going to do. And
yes.
Yeah, but they were very adamant. If you were trying to get into 3 and you miss the red flag, you can just chalk that up. Because
this weekend is a no-go.
This is not for your weekend.
Nope. You get to go again.
Mm-hmm.
Get to go round and round.
There was anybody in our group that was trying for that or missed the red flag. I mean, there were definitely a few people that missed it, but I don't know if anybody was actually trying to move up. But yeah.
Nope, you had a couple people move up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had a black flag drill too.
I don't remember the black flag drill happening.
I never got a black flag.
Okay.
No, I
don't think they were going to do them, so I don't know if like a few people got one, and okay. I don't imagine that they were able to get everybody, but
yeah.
Well, if you were ever going to miss a black flag, the least likely place to miss a black flag is at Mid Ohio, because the guys in the flag station area that give out the black flag, they almost run out to the track with with the flag and your number, and they're pointing it at you, and they're sitting there saying, "Look!" And if you miss that, you should go back to 1, because oh my God, you can't miss those guys.
Yes.
They're by far the most animated black flag people I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
You guys also had a reverse gridding drill.
Yep. Reverse gridding, which is the slow cars are up front and the fast cars are in the back, and the reverse gridding is what they use to do a point by exercises, just so that everybody can work on their passing.
Big shuffle.
Yep, and passing, like I said, is anywhere on the track, even in the turns. So that went really well.
Just not in the hard braking zones.
Just not in the hard braking zones.
Okay. You also had offline passing drill and offline driving drills.
Yep. So the offline passing drills, we were working. They actually did the drills going up one side of the track, and then of course everybody knew the dry line and the wet line, so we just followed them, and the instructor
didn't do that drill, which was actually pretty challenging for me, because that was the time that I had the surprise instructor, because they always have a surprise instructor get in with
right.
How you're doing. So he ended up getting in for that drill, and he's like, because I hadn't learned the track yet, and he's like, well, if you just want to try and drive the line, I'm good with that, and I can go over it with you. So I was trying to drive the dry line while they were doing the offline, which was challenging because I was really, and it's really hard not to, but follow the person in front of you who is driving offline. So that was throwing me off. I know I did terrible, but yeah. So I found out that that's something I needed to work on too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love the drills. The drills you certainly get a lot out of.
Yep.
Did you guys get to do the Indian run drill, or was that one that was rained out?
Yes, we did. It was a hot mess.
Yep.
Yes.
What should it have been?
Yeah, I think everybody was supposed to pass, do left side passing, but when we were over. Yeah, but I also think that our instructor that was doing it, the way that they drove, they were driving a hard line. So us trying to pass, constantly doing left side passing really wasn't translating, because we didn't have enough room. So we would have to go around the right side. So I'm not sure I remember it was a lot easier when I had a different instructor that I was following. This particular time, it was a little difficult.
A little confusing.
Because
basically the Indian run drill, the person in the back of the train has to quick hustle up and pass everybody and get in front, and then it just keeps rotating around, so you just keep running. It's fun drill. I of the 2 drills, I think that was always my favorite. It was fun.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So did the drills help you in any way?
Always.
Yes.
I get a lot out of the drills. I just get more car confidence and driver confidence with my teammates. I know that when I'm going into Great Lakes and I'm coming out of Great Lakes, that I have a lot more trust in the abilities of the people around me. And on top of that, it's confidence in my own driving.
What about you, Miss Jen?
I agree 100%. I like the drills, and I think they serve a wonderful purpose, and it's very educational.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Telemetry. Did you guys get to use the telemetry at all this weekend?
Yes.
We did.
I used the Garmin, I think, once, and the Apex Pro most of the weekend.
Yep. The issue with this one in the Garmin is that we only have, I didn't have the Garmin in my car. I had strictly the Apex until I was driving. I did it eventually came in my car.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So the
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. That with Mid Ohio, it's such a long track that in order for the Garmin to activate, it's
don't get enough laps.
Exactly. So we're on there for an average of a little bit more than 3 laps before we have to get off, and it takes 1 lap for it to come on. So you're like, then it takes one to diagnose you, and then it takes another one to say, okay, this is how you can do better. And it's by that time you're done. So,
so how did you guys do on your goals?
I did great on my goals.
Okay.
The ones,
learn the track and
I did, and I did something that wasn't a goal, but I was pleased with. I was doing some skidding around the corners.
Little tire talk.
Yes. Which was not intended, but it's something that
byproduct of getting comfortable.
I was not comfortable with, and was very comfortable with by the end of the weekend.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It just happened. So it was, I was very pleased with that.
Awesome. What about you, Miss Vicky?
So my goals are still working on them because, again, it's courage.
Goals in progress.
Yes.
Goals in training.
So much so, it was my goal so much so that I end up doing two complete 360s in the middle of the track on my end of the beginning of my first day, I think. It wasn't the absolute beginning, was it, Jen?
I was middle.
No,
I was still in the Miata. So wait a minute, it was the end of the first day. The track was drying out, and I was working on my courage coming down that straightaway, and something happened where I don't know if I locked my tires by accident or what, but 2 total 360s in the middle of the track, heading sideways, and then off into China Beach, which is the big kitty litter box. And then as I came to a stop, as time was slowing down, holding on to that car a little bit, going, oh, I don't have this. I'm just going to have to let it go so I don't end up overcorrecting and hitting a wall or anything. Off into China Beach, came to a stop sideways and looking at all the traffic heading to me. In the way, it wasn't in the way of traffic. They had shown up the red flag, the yellow flags, but I just still knew that it was a bad place to be because I was still in a runoff zone. So I got off to the side, and I went in to have my car checked in the black flag tent.
I have pictures.
I know it was terrible. It was awful.
Of the black flag.
So
Vicky's little Miata peeking up over the grass, coming back up on the track.
So now our family who ride together are going to start adopting or have adopted this thing where we honk and wave as we go by.
After we do stupid things.
We do stupid things, and one of us goes off. I started with my son last weekend, and I do it with Jennifer on occasion when I'm passing her, and something has happened. But
if we're gonna honk,
my stupid thing was when they went from the club track to the pro track. I followed the club track the next day right through the chicane.
Yep.
And the cones. And as I turned around, Vicky comes around and she's honking and waving and laughing. And I'm sitting there in the cones.
Listen, if we're going to start doing this every time we do something stupid, I'm going to have to start getting spare horns for our team.
That's right. It was pretty awesome. So it kind of lightened things up. Yeah. So that happened. My car ended up, not having any issues. So I was more concerned about my tires being warm and having all that sand melted into it. So I really took it easy going around the track for a while.
Awesome.
Yes.
Any aha moments, my ladies?
Tires and Madness.
Tell us about Madness.
Yes. Tell us about Madness, Jen.
Madness can be
evil,
yes, because it's a really awkward turn, and it's off camber, and it's
over a hill.
It's
over
high-low.
a hill. It's blind. It's weird. But anyway, it was my nemesis on day one. By day two, it was one of my favorite. It was just a fun turn. And I don't even know if it was Madness as much as the bottom of Madness. So it was just fun. Like that whole turn, like doing the turn and kind of skidding around the hill and coming down and then kind of taking that sharp right. Like the whole thing just was my favorite point on the track.
What was these words? I've never heard you say. What was that? Skidding? What is this word? I've never heard it come from you before.
Yes, right?
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yep. I have to agree. Madness is probably one of my favorites on that track because it's equally dry. Exactly. You have to hit it a certain way. You have to wait for the car to settle once you're on the other end before you can really do anything else to your acceleration. But I was actually in the weekend before turn 5 on Thunderbolt. Is similar. It's not as tall, which is kind of huge. But so running that and learning how to go over turn 5 on Thunderbolt helped me for Madness. Now Madness it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You get a little like roller coaster exhilaration when you're going over it.
Yes.
It's coming.
So any ahas for you, Miss Vicky? Or is this an aha free zone for you?
This weekend was a transitioning because I had to drive 2 cars again. So I think one of the ahas on this one was that I got a chance to drive the E46 on the second day, and I just worked those tires. I had so much tire noise going on, which was awesome. I think I did one of my best times on that track.
Absolutely, you did.
This time around on my second time on the track on the dry, I did one of my best times in the E46
by far. Yeah, you broke it by like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Speaking of breaking their improving over 3 seconds on a weekend. Miss Jennifer.
Yes.
Your first dry time on Saturday was what?
Gosh, I can't remember.
Okay. Your fastest lap on Sunday versus your fastest lap in the dry on Saturday. How many seconds difference was it?
30 or so?
Yeah, 27.
Yay! That's
27.
Massive.
Yeah. You can tell what getting comfortable with the track and then getting comfortable with the car and improving your driving does. 27 seconds. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's big boy. Big boy. All right.
How about you? Did you have any aha moments?
Well, I mean,
what's your underoos movement,
Bill? I mean, sort of. I mean, I had a little aha moment.
I'm a big boy now.
That's right. I'm a big boy now.
Are you ready to discuss that yet?
Sure.
Okay.
Come on, Bill. Tell him,
Bill.
Well,
listeners want to know.
In a further description of literally how anybody can do this, I am now in HPD4.
Yay! And what does that require?
Well, I have to be able to count. I have to be able to count the 4. So there's that. That's a whole nother finger. And my goal was to do that this year, and I think I was shooting for Pittsburgh, and I'm 2 events ahead, so that's good. And so HPD4 really at Great Lakes is really aimed at further defining your driving and trying to get you ready to, if you want to be a time trialer, do time trials. If you want to be a racer, wheel to wheel, you do wheel to wheel racing. And if you want to be an instructor, you get to do all of it. So, I think that's really So I think I am semi-eligible to be an instructor and will be starting instructing at a coming event. So it was kind of fun. Good to get my goals taken care of. I like that. Makes me happy.
Well, I need an instructor.
I do. I know. So I think we all do. You know who didn't say that? Miss Vicky.
Sorry.
Ain't happening.
I can't. I work with him.
Can't teach her how to play golf, and I can't teach her how to drive.
Nope. We spend way too much time together. It's just not a good combo.
Very true. No worries. Nothing personal. I got it.
Nothing personal.
I'm with you. So, good, bad, and the ugly. Where are we going?
On Saturday or the entire weekend?
Let's do the whole weekend.
My car, again, as I brought up earlier, my car's older and parts are going. So we end up going out to a restaurant Saturday night, and my car just wouldn't turn over.
This is the good?
No, this is the bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the bad. The good was the entire weekend. The good is always.
Give me something.
Okay. The good is always spending time with my family doing this because it is just so much fun. We have such a good time. We have such a good energy as we're all together. So it's just really enjoyable.
Unless you're cranky that your car's broken.
Well, I really wasn't cranky. My car was broken.
That was the weekend before.
That was the weekend before because it was a stupid thing, and it was easily repairable.
All right, your bad was your car breaking.
Yeah, my car breaking. It ended up being we're thinking it's the starter because my car was gradually having difficult times, a little bit more so starting. So I'm thinking that my starter's just wearing out, and I'm thinking about doing repairing what I need on my alternator, the coil or whatever it is while I'm in there. Some of these older parts that have to get taken care of. So yeah, my car would push start. It would do a bump start, but it would not just turn on. So,
what about your ugly?
My ugly, the cold. It was cold.
It was quite
cold and wet, and we weren't really prepared for that.
Nope.
But
I have it on my list though.
What's that?
That's on my list. We just ignored the list.
Okay.
No.
So that was about it. I mean, it's kind of like fishing, It's any day racing is better than, a good day at work. So yeah, it's just was really nice.
What about you, Miss Jen? Good, bad, and the ugly?
Oh, good. Obviously was just going and spending time with Vic and you, and I'm glad you talked me into it.
It was
tough. It was a long drive.
It was a long drive. We broke it up, but it was worth it. I enjoyed it.
It's only long on the way home.
Well, yeah, I don't know. The bad was probably driving in that rain going there was
terrifying.
And it wasn't. Driving on the track wet was terrifying, but I'll tell you, it was a long drive in torrential rain.
We had to stop.
Miata with no Rain-X.
Yeah.
Fix that. We fixed that.
We did fix it. But yeah, it was my hands were a little sore from gripping the wheel on that one.
Mm-hmm. What about an ugly? Did we get an ugly?
I don't really have an ugly because it really wasn't an ugly weekend. I mean, Vicky's car breaking, maybe, but
we're used to that.
It did. I had a car to drive, and that was all that mattered.
Drive, and
lots of people stuck their head under the hood. So,
and she had a familiar car to drive. It wasn't like it was,
Yep.
So really, there wasn't any ugly. I mean, nobody wrecked. It was a good trip. Like, we all were safe. Like, no cars had a bunch of issues. I mean, not just us, but there in general. Like, there wasn't any.
Yeah, once it got dry, everybody was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't any like tragedies or anything that happened all weekend, and it was good.
Yeah, there was a couple bumps that were there, a couple, but Yeah.
Speaking of bumps, you guys got to see one of your first Spec Miata races and 944s and stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
You guys don't usually see the races too much.
No, we actually got up on top of the stands to go watch it, and I was really amazed that you're allowed to bump. I mean, they're just inches. Those Miatas are inches, if not right on pushing.
I will tell you right now, I am nowhere near being comfortable with bumping yet.
And I got to tell you, I think I would be really angry if somebody was bumping my car.
Yes, we know.
I would.
Yes, we know.
I would be angry. I'd be like, what the heck?
Yep.
Need my personal space.
Yep. All right. So, good weekend had by all. Yes. That's a Great Lakes. Always fun.
Mm-hmm. How about your good, bad, ugly?
Oh, good, bad, ugly. Good. Well, crossing things off my list is always a happy day for me. So having one of my goals.
It was a big one.
It was a big one. We tried to get Bill a steak dinner.
Yep. Failed miserably.
Failed miserably. He ended up having meatloaf.
Yeah, we went to
meatloaf.
The best thing we could find was Cracker Barrel on the way. So that, anticlimactic there.
Yeah.
I'm taking a rain check. I want Korean next time we're done in Delaware. But anyway, like we didn't go there. Like we don't go there anyway. Anyway, bad. I think Jennifer starting out on the wet track, not the best, but she did really well. She was scared.
We
ridiculously.
got her, I'm sorry. I bulldozed there. That's why they call me bulldozer.
Yeah, we know.
It's okay. So, no, we got her instruction early, though. And I think it helped.
I know. It's a tough track to learn in the wet. And the ugly.
Pushing my car?
No, that was fine. I'm used to pushing your car.
Oh.
Wow, there was that.
That hurt.
I was really tired after this event. I think 2 weeks back to back with a lot of commuting in between. I was kind of whippled. Yeah. So it was kind of an ugly commute home. Obviously, we're sad that our friend Big Bill's BMW's in a little bit of pain. Hopefully fixable, but he's got a second one just in case. And we had a bunch of people.
Right. I took him for a ride in my car. He squeezed his. How tall is he? 6 foot something.
Oh my God! All right, Bill.
6 foot a lot. 6 foot a lot.
The guy's got to be 6'6".
I have a picture. I'm like, before you get out of this car, I got to get a picture because his knees. Here's chin.
It was what the inside of a clown car looked like.
So I go over to Bill. He comes to my download meeting, and he just gotten out of the car with Jen, and he's got this look of fear. No, he was fine, but he comes over and he's talking, and I'm like, "So how was it?" He's like, "Well, I'm sorry about that, but I think you've got a permanent imprint of my knees on your dashboard." It
was like a snake trying to slide out of that car. It was very awkward.
Yeah.
I told him it was fine if he could. He's like, "Oh no, I can get in." And he kept trying. He did. He squeezed himself in there.
Yeah, just unscrewed one leg, threw it in the back seat. Yeah.
That was funny.
So, Mr. Griffin, get your car fixed. We want to see you out there. You know what the bummer is for that? This weekend coming up is Grid Life.
Ooh.
Bad timing. Anyway.
Yeah. I just want to take a moment to thank Joey Pollock, Derek, and Bill. What's John? Yeah, that are our instructors, because they do such a great job. Mm-hmm. Joey is so patient that he is just, yeah, sure. He's a yes, sure kind of instructor.
I'll tell you what, that was so helpful. He took me out in his car,
which is the same as your car.
All we did was ask, and he's like, sure. So, and I'll tell you, that helped me learn the track better than going around as many times as I did. Like, I went around with him, and that was the pivotal moment. Like, he had me out. He drove the line. He told me, what to look at, and it was amazing. So, yeah, that was so helpful.
Yeah, and the way Joey drives too is amazing. and the way they do drive, because they teach you how when you're going around some of these turns, they really stress the balance of your car. And Joey keeps his car so balanced, and it's so fast, and the way he drives that you just don't like. That's the first time driving with a person I did not end up sick. But I tell you, he was fast at the same. He knows how to drive that car. Oh, but just the same, I just want to thank those guys. They are amazing instructors. I get so much out of it every time I go.
And don't forget, you got to meet Robin again for the second time.
Robin,
yes.
The other HPD instructor came up and he loved my pew 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 on my car. I have above the hood of on a window piece on my car, the stickers that go above my windshield. It just says pew pew pew, because that's the noise my car makes when the turbo kicks in. So he mistook it for something else, but nope, it's not a Star Wars reference.
That wasn't what he took it for.
No. Oh yeah. So
Robin, once again, he likes to on your out lap when you're getting warmed up, he likes the first lap of the day. He likes to identify every flag station, point his finger gun, squeeze the trigger on his finger gun, and make the pew sound. So he loved that on your car.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
So it was good. The instructors are really, really nice and really good. We actually had a trip visit in from Roland and Ann too, from Lemons. They came to pick up an engine from us. They drove up from the Carolinas, stayed in Ohio with family, and then stopped by. That was nice. Got a little introduction to Anne in the Great Lakes, and she seemed very interested in what they had to offer for the instructor level. So she'll be revisiting that information.
Should be fun. Mm-hmm. All right. Great time. Great weekend. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, ladies. Have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.
Dominating with Dawson.
Ben Dawson, come in. Ben Dawson.
It's okay, guys. I'm right here.
All right, because we need.
Ben, we went to Mid-Ohio this weekend.
We did.
Yeah, tell me. We haven't even talked about that. How was that? What did you learn? I heard Jen dropped a bunch of time, like left seconds all over the place, and in a good way.
She just kept dropping them everywhere.
Yeah, it was awesome. It took a little while to learn the track, but once I learned it and it dried out, big improvements.
That's great. What was your favorite part of the track, Jen?
Wait. Ben, what do you think would be Jen's favorite?
Isn't there like a big old kind of turn in the middle of a long straightaway? That's what I would have guessed.
Okay. Jen, what's your favorite?
By the end of the weekend, it was Madness was my favorite turn.
I think I'm talking about Madness.
Yeah. It's at the end by China Beach. Yep.
I think I've never been there, but I think we're talking about the same part.
Yep.
That's
awesome.
Uphill, downhill, off camber mess.
It was. It's a mess, wet, but dry, fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we had a great time at Mid-Ohio. Jennifer got to go there, and her first two stints were in full Mid-Ohio magical
rain line.
So she did have fun though.
It was fun.
Pretty exciting.
It was a lot of fun.
That's the best way to get blessed with to get christened at a new track is in the rain.
Really, you think so, Ben? Do you really think so?
I do. I would love to. Yeah, I would love that. Like, put me in a new track where I get in the car where our team has a lead, and I get in the car, and it's the first time I've seen the track or the car, and it's wet. That's my dream scenario. Like, you got to hold the lead. You've never seen this track before. Get after it.
No pressure.
That's a Ben Dawson dream track.
Yeah.
So we did come up with something that Jennifer has a little bit of trouble with from this trip that we never knew before. And we've got a question as to what you would think would help her. So Miss Jen.
So I was really trying to, because it was a new track. I was really trying to learn the track, before I went and like kind of in between, the times I went out, I really had a hard time, like even watching videos, because they always say prepare. Do you know what I mean? When you go to a new track. So watching videos, like you kind of, it doesn't do anything for me. So, I look at pictures of the map and I see, the ones with the track line, it all drawn in red. And I have to be on it to drive it, to learn it. Like, and that unfortunately doesn't allow me enough time to prepare. And there was even a point in between the different times I went out, I had a YouTube video up and I had the track map, and I was just kind of going back and forth, trying to like watch the video and trying to point out on the track where it was tough. I mean, by the end of the weekend, I got the track. Like I learned it. I really, how do I do that before I go? Like, I mean, it's just tough.
iRacing.
Somebody did mention that.
No, that's the answer. Like if this, like for me, like that's also partly a function of being pretty brand new, which you all are. So I can look at a track map and the jargon already pops in my head, like, oh, okay, this big sweeper, I'm probably gonna run that in fourth gear, probably brake about here. Like I have an idea. I can glance at a track map and understand fairly well what I expect to be doing in the car at a certain point, even without watching the video. Kind of have a pretty good idea. But I mean, I'm also going to watch a lot of video, and the way I learn, it's usually a pretty good head start for me if I've watched a lot of video of somebody who I trust to be a pretty good driver in a platform similar to what I'm planning to drive at that track. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'm the type of person who learns and absorbs information that way. But I also think it's a function of the fact that I've been doing this forever, and I can kind of assimilate a picture and a group of expectations quicker than somebody who's new to it. I mean, so I think part of it is this will become easier just naturally as your tool chest gets bigger and deeper, and your ability to sort of assimilate different characteristics and circumstances around the track grow, then this will just become more natural to you. So part of the answer is it's going to come. And part of the answer is, if you're kind of crashing into the wall with the preparational methods you're trying, you watch video, you look at track maps, that sort of things, and it's not clicking, then the answer, if you're really serious about this, which all of you are, is to get on a sim rig and be playing iRacing. I've used iRacing to show up places I've never been, and podiumed in a race that way. So I've been leading a race by like 2 or 3 laps at a track I've never been to, just from kind of piecing it together on iRacing. So that's definitely one easy, quick way to be successful. And it's true enough to life that you're going to have a very good, real life butt dyno feel for what you need to be doing in that car. Cause if you're going to go race, you're relatively new Miata, there's a Miata race car on there that's fairly similar. I mean, there's something that's going to be close enough or analogous enough to what you're going to be driving in iRacing to be a reasonable representation of what you're going to go try. Do you understand what I mean?
Yep.
You think that would help? So
I do.
Well, do you know what? Now that we have a new house coming, we have more space for the iRacer.
Yeah, or just kick a child out.
Yeah, do that too.
That'd be cheaper. That'd be way cheaper.
I mean, one of the people we talked to on this podcast, Ian Korf, he's a guy who, I went one way of getting a million years of experience piece by piece at a time as I could kind of afford to go to the track. And this was even at a time where there already was iRacing. I didn't do this independent of iRacing, though I could have been doing iRacing the whole time. But at the same time, Ian himself did a few track events and a few races, but he's done the majority of his time in competition and just high performance driving has been on iRacing, and it's made it really fast. He's a guy who, as he told us, what did he say? He's got like less than 100 hours on the track, he thinks.
Yeah,
and he's a very, very fast driver. I put him up there with anybody. So, and he did most of it through iRacing.
And he's in our top 10 ever downloaded episodes so far.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. We sold a lot of books for Ian. I hope he got like a check for like 6 or 7 cents. So what do you think, Miss Jen? Would iRacing help you?
After he said that, somebody did mention that to me and said not all tracks are on there, but Mid-Ohio is on there. It is very true to the track. So it would have been a good thing to do. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll give that a run.
Let me say, at least in my experience, I was going to go drive Laguna Seca with Chump Car And I'd done that track in sims, all the way back to PC sims, and in the late '90s, that sort of thing. I never liked the track, but I did it in iRacing to try to get ready and get a good feel for what it was going to be. And then once I went and drove the actual track, I loved it. But I always hated it in sims, even including iRacing. Once I did it in person, I was ready for it and had a great time. And it was definitely largely down to sim time. And also when I used it to go race with Champ around the same time in Las Vegas Motor Speedway, I guess they have several different ways that they can configure their road course and oval, their Roval setup. And the various configurations in iRacing, none of those were going to be exactly what they were using. Like there's just a few different connectors you can use. And I just pieced together the closest iteration I could as to what Chump Car was going to use. It was going to be a night race. So we were racing from like 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. So most of it was going to be in the dark. I definitely started in the dark, driving a track in a NASCAR track in a Volvo without any kind of special headlights. So I was overdriving the headlights a little bit. But anyway, I had done enough iRacing that I trusted that when I needed to go driving off into NASCAR turn one, full throttle, like I know NASCAR cars can do this. I'm sure I can do this in this Volvo wagon. And I know from iRacing that it's not going to be the end of the world. So it'll give you more confidence in a new track. I went out there, even not having, I was missing one of the connectors that got me back onto the NASCAR track as far as the configuration versus what I could find in iRacing. Even missing that little piece of it, even though I could put most of the track together, I went out and the car owner went out and I think he put us 2 laps in the lead, and I went out and did my stint and put us out to 4 lap lead. And this is just from kind of piecing it together a little bit on iRacing. So there's a lot of value to it, at least in my mind. You can use it for very real world applications. Now, iRacing did not help the transmission not fall out of that car. It was about time for me to come in and celebrate the lead we had. iRacing didn't help that car's transmission not just come out completely of the vehicle, but it's one thing at a time. Definitely get on iRacing, I think. If
you hit the function F11 key, it'll put the transmission back in for you. So you should have been fine.
Yeah, there were so many cars riding by honking at me because I'm not a generous driver in traffic. Like if I'm going to come by, I'm coming by. And so like I would say, somebody sitting there with the back end sitting up with the transmission up under the back end. There were so many guys. I guess a lot of those cars still had their horns, and there were so many guys driving by honking their horn and waving one finger at me and stuff.
Oh, speaking of that, ladies, what is our new tradition that you guys have adopted?
So we are on the track quite frequently in the same class at the moment. Mm-hmm. So cool. So now when one of us does something stupid or goes off track, we kind of honk and wave as we go by.
With a little bit of laughing.
Yep.
Okay, a lot of laughing.
Yeah. So that's So Jennifer ended up going into a chicane that was closed. So I honked and drove by.
Well, you got to. I mean, you really have to.
So Saturday was the club course, and then Sunday was the pro course.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Jennifer had brain fog.
Nobody told Jen. Well, let me rephrase that. You got to
be aware that's not like a whole different thing. You want to go hauling off in there.
I didn't go far.
No, I'm just saying somebody should have definitely let you know it was going to be different.
They did. It's just Jennifer was not accepting consultation at that point.
I understand. I understand now. Yeah. I've been there.
Yep.
It was a rough morning.
Yeah, I bet.
It was so rough. I just came in. Like, I just didn't even finish. I just left.
Yeah. She was frustrated with herself.
I was. Yeah.
That's okay. We got over it. We had a great weekend.
Mm-hmm. It was a great weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ben. We're going to do some iRacing now. We're going to prep. I've also got a plan for my extensive track notes. I have a theory. I can make a track note that'll work for these two ladies. We'll test it out on them. Sure.
I'm excited to hear more about that. When it's time to reveal it to the world, I wouldn't want you to rush it or anything like that, or reveal any proprietary information.
Trust me, it's fine. We got this covered, though. It's going to be the first track that will apply is a pit race. So, anyway, thank you, Ben.
Yeah, great. Do it on a track I've never been to, and don't have any future plans for going to. Don't do it for somewhere I have to go all the time. I mean, I need help now.
What do you want me to? If you tell me what the second track will be, Ben. Do I have to do VIR for you?
No, let's do Road Atlanta because we all go there, race lemons. Let's help some lemons racers out and do Road Atlanta.
Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta's number 2. Pit race first. Road Atlanta 2.
There we go.
Very well.
All right.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, guys.